1, 2.
And welcome to the Miami Police. Why do you cut it so short? Miami Police Podcast. Woo. This is the
a little clappage.
First official Miami Police Podcast.
What an honor.
Yes, and we have our official guest. But we want to save you for the grand opening. I mean, the grand finale of the intros. So we're going to go around the room, introduce everybody here, and we'll start back in the corner. Go ahead.
My name's Anissa. I am the social broadcasting specialist.
All right. Hello, Anissa.
Hi, everyone. My name is Officer Horta, Ralph. I've been with the department for about 6.5 years now.
All right. What we got on the couch?
It's Orlando here on loan from PIO.
That's right. It's Orlando, and I am Nick with the social media unit, 15 years on. And wait, before we get to the guest of honor, back behind the cameras, we got Gio. He's working the cameras as the technician. Say what's up, Gio.
What's up, everyone? Gio over here. 16 years on, I'll be roving, taking pictures, and making sure the cameras are A-okay.
All right. So Gio's behind the cameras. Now, do we have a drum roll in that soundboard yet?
A drum roll? I don't think there's a drum roll, but no, there isn't a drum roll.
No. He was hesitant there.
There's a drum.
Right.
The guest of honor.
But a little committee entry there.
Chief Manny Morales. Sir.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Great to be here.
Welcome. What do you think? What do you think?
I am thoroughly impressed, man.
Yeah. You gave us...
I'm loving Vive.
You gave us a blessing. You said, go ahead. And now you get to see it here. What do you think? You good?
Well, man. Looks like a very dark closet, but
yeah,
with a little ambience to it. Yeah,
with some microphones. So today on the podcast, we wanted to make it official, introduce you to the podcast audience. We're broadcasting on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on iHeartRadio. So all the audience out there, we wanted to introduce you, get to know you a little bit. But before we get into that stuff, we want to talk about some trendy topics too. So we want to make this, lighthearted, not all policey. Talk a little bit about trendy topics, and then you can weigh in, and everyone's going to weigh in around the room on some of the things that we have. So Anissa, matter of fact, she's going to lead this segment, and it's called Anissa's Trendy Topics. Huh? Is that original?
That is original.
Is that original?
The content.
Yeah,
Good job.
It's all up here, sir.
It's there. It's there.
Nice.
So
magic happens.
we have a TV in the studio,
Yeah.
and Anissa's going to go ahead and lead us with the first topic, which I thought was kind of interesting. We wanted to kind of pick random stuff.
Okay.
So you tell me.
So I was just strolling through the social media, and I saw a post that was like flying car going on to the next step. And I was like, what? And I just went through this internet deep dive to see what's going on with this car. And it's going, I think it just got approved by the FAA. And it's going to go into testing right now for flying. So it hasn't done any flight testing yet, but it's in the process right now. And there's this I went on this website. This is their official website. And if you go to the FAQs, just the questions are insane. Like, is street legal? Can it go on the highway? Can you lift off from the highway? Like those weird questions, those shower thoughts that you have.
I mean,
you think of a car flying.
That would help certainly with traffic if you're stuck in a traffic jam. It's like, I'm out of here.
So the only drawback that I see here in Miami is when you land, right? If we get them as police fleet cars, flying police fleet cars.
Think about it.
Where do you park it? The roofs?
Yeah, well,
Maybe on the roof of the building.
maybe on the roof. I don't know.
But maybe more, I don't know, I kind of like it, but how about jetpacks? Right?
Yeah.
Instead of walking around with a backpack, man, a
I
little
like it.
jetpack, zoom around.
That's it.
Get to a place. There's got to be a little weight limit on that, though, man. I don't know if I'll be doing the jetpack yet, man. I don't know about that.
We get 3 jets. We get 3 jets.
Well, I like these, but have you seen the vehicles that are also become submersible, like submarine vehicles? That'd be handy.
That'd be good.
Marine Patrol is already asking for one. I see them.
Yes, I can see that.
Podcast ain't even out. They're already got a purchase order somewhere for one of the Dolphin jet cars that goes on the water.
So that's the first trendy topic. Look at that. We're talking about flying cars. We're Were you
So we're
prepared?
off to the first podcast. We're off to a flying start.
That's it. I like it. Hey.
That was Orlando's job, man. You better tighten up.
Zinger.
I know. You'd be out of a job.
Elisa, what do you got for the next one? I think it was I know what it was.
It's who's the most famous person you met, but
Yeah.
like who was that person that that gives you that starstruck feeling?
So it's twofold. So it should be two people, right?
Two?
So like who's the most famous person? And then to you, who is the most famous person?
Wow.
If you want a second to think, we can bounce around the room, unless you got it.
I mean, I know the most famous person that I've met. I've met a lot. I've been fortunate enough to be around for a bit, but I think it would have to be Norman Schwarzkopf, General.
Wow.
When we're doing Desert Storm. Funny story, real quick.
Yeah, well, this is what it's about. This is what it's about.
Christmas Day, I'm an E2 private, almost as low as you can get. He's a 4-star general, right? And I'm outside, right? The war room. So you see the movies, right? There's a room. You got a huge map.
Yeah.
You got all the little flags for all the units.
People
That's
sitting.
that's a
sitting.
thing.
Yeah,
it's an
really.
actual thing, right?
Yeah.
So it was inside the vault in Riyadh in Saudi Arabia, and I'm on duty in the morning, Christmas morning, man. I draw war room duty. So I'm there outside guarding the war room, and guess who shows up with his entourage? Norman Schwarzkopf, man. He's a big guy, heavy duty presence, right? So he brings, guess what he gives me? He says, "Merry Christmas, soldier."
Hey.
He gives me a presidential chocolate candy bar.
Nice.
Oh, man, I was like, sweet, merciful baby Jesus. I just got, man, I'm looking at it. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah. Do you eat it or do you save it? You know?
So I saved it and I sent it home.
Oh, nice.
So my ex-wife ate it. I'm like, you're not supposed to eat a presidential candy bar. That's like a keepsake, you know?
I mean,
but
yeah.
I guess she was pregnant with my first child, so he's walking around with some presidential chocolate somewhere in his body.
That's what I'm gonna say. It's in there. It's in the system.
Did you keep the wrapper at least, or?
I did keep
You
the
keep
wrapper.
the wrapper,
I
okay.
do have the wrapper. She did that for me.
That was nice. Is that so? That is the combination. To you, the most famous and the most famous.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty neat. It's not just a famous person; it's like a historical figure, you know.
Yeah. I wanted to touch later on in the podcast about your background and the service that you for our country. I wanted to touch on that. We jumped ahead a little bit, but we're going to come back to that. So they're like, "Oh, I want to hear more. That was one cool story. I want to hear more." We'll get to that.
I got lots of cool stories, man.
Yeah. So
Some are even true.
be careful, sir. There's going to be a lot of fact checkers out there. Hold on a second. Hold on.
The chief's a liar. He admitted it.
Anybody else want to take that famous one, Anissa? Who do you have? I know you said some. You said some. Like, might not know it.
So I've met Gabriel Iglesias, the comedian.
Yeah.
Fluffy.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Fluffy, yeah.
Right on.
He's
Right
funny.
on.
Yeah.
Right after his stand up, he was just hanging out and he was meeting his fans. So I got to meet him. I have pictures of him.
Oh,
and
nice.
then the one that no one would know is Tim Gunn,
No.
Project Runway.
No.
He's the guy that would say to the girls, like, make it happen, you know?
Oh, I think I know.
I met him.
From my wife. My wife watches that sometimes. So sometimes you're in the living room and you see it a little bit and you're like, I remember that. Make it happen. I remember that.
I met him walking just down the mall. He was walking down the mall, and I was just like, whoa. That was Tim Gunn. That was just Tim Gunn.
Nice.
Yeah.
All right. So Tim Gunn. No idea. I think I know who he is. I could be talking about Hell's Kitchen. I'm not sure.
Yeah,
I'm
could
not
be.
sure. Could be. I could be mixing it up. What do you got?
Well, one night I was out with a couple friends, and I would say it was really cool. I'm a big sports fan, so Dolphins, Heat, the Hurricanes, the U, everybody. So I actually met Michael Irvin and Udonis Haslam at the same moment. They were actually together, and they were really nice. Took a picture, and that was cool. That was cool. We spoke for a while, and
Nice.
that was cool.
And UD, he actually does a lot of stuff with us. So
Yeah.
maybe one day he'll be
Maybe-
sitting in your chair, sir.
Maybe he will.
Maybe so. Orlando.
Well, for a second there, I drew a blank, and then a little bit about my background is I used to work for a small newspaper out in Key Biscayne. I was one of the two reporters on staff, and I would do like a lot of human interest stories.
Right.
And I went to the local Rotary Club, one of the meetings, and they had Janet Reno as a guest speaker, so I met her. And then I don't know if you guys remember the Running Man and Colors, the films. There's an actress from Venezuela called Maria Conchita Alonso.
That was his most famous.
I interviewed her, and
Hey.
she was really cool.
Nice. I had Stone Cold Steve Austin. That was mine.
Nice.
It was both.
It wasn't Hacksaw Jim Duggan, or?
In an airport. Yeah, I didn't. Actually, I just saw him. I lie. I just saw him walking.
You didn't meet him.
But he
You
had
saw
the
him
little
from
jean
afar.
shorts on, and he was doing the walk through the. And I was like, "That's Stone Cold right there. That's Stone Cold." I wanted to say something, but yeah,
It happens fast.
Yeah, and then you're like, do I want to go up to him? And he's
don't wanna
walking with his
bother.
wife.
I want to be that guy.
Yeah, and I want him to, do his Stone Cold moves to me, the Stone Cold Stunner
Stone
in the
Cold
middle
stun
of
you
the
in the
terminal,
middle.
and now I'm laying on the ground, and I got to explain what happened. Yeah. Might have been worth it.
Maybe.
Anyways, so that's our famous people, right? So
right.
we're going to start moving into the chief. It's going to, dun, 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 all the lights are going to come down. We're going to start talking about you, sir. However, we're going to take our first break before we get there. We got
All right.
breaks, sir, and we run
Breaks.
commercials for the department. We run-
Union mandated breaks. Give people a break, man. You can't work that hard.
All right, so with that being said, we'll be right back. Well, hello, and welcome to the very first Miami Police podcast commercial. During these commercials, we're going to be taking a pause from the conversation and talking to you guys, the listeners and the viewers out there. What are we going to be talking about, you might ask? Events. We're going to be talking about PSAs. We're going to be talking about possible recruiting opportunities with the police department. It's a lot of information that we need to get to you, and that's where we're going to be delivering it during these commercial breaks. With that being said, let's get back to the podcast. And we're back. How about those commercials, sir?
Wow.
Yeah.
Impressive.
Thank you. Thank
Impressive.
you. We are no amateur hour here. So, sir, we want to get to know you. We want to get to know Chief Morales. We want to know what you were like before, and we could start with what high school did you go to? Represent, sir. Represent.
I went to Hialeah High, class of 88.
Whoa.
T-Breads.
Hey. T-Breads.
That's right.
I'm sure.
La ciudad por eso.
Look at Ralph over there. He's like, yeah. Yeah. So,
Repping Hialeah in the house.
when you were in high school, what kind of student were you? Student athlete, into clubs, or tell us a little bit about yourself in high school, sir. Open up to us. Open up here on the podcast.
I think I was a journeyman, a little bit of everything, right? So
Yeah.
a little bit of sports, played a little football, got hurt. It didn't last too long. But
What position?
nose tackle.
Nose
Big
tackle.
guy. Been a big guy all the time.
That's my spot. I keep looking over to my sports guy, and he's just nodding. Great for audio, by the way.
Yeah.
He's gonna be killing the game on the audio portion. He's,
Yeah, we're gonna put him down as a nodding guy.
yeah, he's a bobblehead, sir.
I agree.
Any favorite subject? Any favorite subject in school?
Man, anything but math.
Anything but math. All right.
Same here. Same
I
here.
love history, but math was never my forte.
What about ROTC? Because I know we already mentioned about military. Were you involved in ROTC at all?
So no, man, I can't even remember how I got interested in the military, or I really did always want to be a cop. I don't remember for when. I had no family members that were cops. Didn't have any interaction with police officers. I grew up in Puerto Rico, came to the States when I was 13, so I don't remember having. A lot of folks will tell you, hey, I had a negative interaction with the cops, or I had this cop that was great, and he inspired me, but I don't remember. I just always had like an attraction to the profession, and when I graduated high school, I was 17, so I was a little too young
Yeah.
to apply for any other police department, so, it was an unexpected thing, military police.
Military MP?
So that's right.
All right.
So I joined the Army in 88 and did almost 4 years there. It was an incredible time. Very proud of my service. And
So you joined in 88, you said?
Garrett.
So what Desert Storm was what year?
It was 90 to 91.
So you were in it.
I was in it, man.
You were
Desert
in it.
Shield first, and then Desert Storm as we started the little ground war there.
Yeah, I remember that.
So I did a little time also in 89. I did Operation Just Cause in Panama, where we took down El General,
Wow.
Manuel Noriega.
Oh, that was you.
Yeah, well, not me by myself,
No,
but,
no,
I had a little help.
Sir, were you
Navy
Rambo?
SEALs running around. I had a little bit of help, but
No, but that was your era.
yeah,
Really
that
cool,
was my
man.
time, man. Yeah, I did
That's
a
good.
little traveling around.
That's awesome. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. Did you know that, Orlando?
I did not.
But now you do.
And
Manuel Noriega.
A wartime veteran, man. Can you imagine that?
It's impressive, to be honest. I didn't know. I knew you were in the Army, but I just didn't know to what extent. And I figured it was around the Desert Storm time. So to learn that is like, hey, I like it, sir. Very good. Very good. Awesome. So going back, and I think it's interesting that you didn't have anything, no basis as why you like or like you said, nobody in your family? You didn't have any interactions. Maybe like what about like cop show? Did you watch any cop TV or something, or you just saw the police? Like that's the idea of being able to help people, put bad guys in jail. No,
man, I don't have that clear picture in my mind of what was the precursor or the catapult that sent me down the law enforcement profession. I I'd always like helping people.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it morphed into, law enforcement.
Interesting. What about like, because you said you were a big guy in high school, like protecting. Like I had a younger brother, for instance, and I was always protective of him. If he had a bully or something, I would always step in and handle business, whatever I got to do. And I think I was like, man, that's my calling. I don't like bullies. I don't like people that pick on people. So I feel like I'm the defender of my brother, and that I guess you just internalize it. And then police is like, that's what I want to do.
No, at the time I had a younger brother, 1 year younger than me, and he was a big guy also. So we didn't get messed around too much, and we're both there highly high. So we knew a bunch of the folks. So it was a much friendly environment than what I remember or what I see now in the stories that I hear from high school nowadays.
Yeah, high school's changed nowadays.
A little bit, right?
Yeah, especially with the phones. The phone stuff in class. And just to do a little anecdotal, high school has changed. My son just started middle school, and he was telling me about his first day and what teachers were expecting. And one of the teachers is like, if you guys have a phone, you can listen to music and look at your phone if you have earbuds on. If I hear earbuds, I'm going to take away your phone. So I was like, wow, that's a big change.
That's progressive right there,
That's
man.
a big change.
You couldn't even have gum.
No, gum.
Class
Yeah.
when I was going out. You can
That's
hear
so
music and.
Do you think if they allowed gum, there wouldn't be so much gum underneath the table? The people would just take it and throw it
throw
away.
it in the garbage.
But since they didn't allow it,
You had to.
you think about it,
To
right?
hide it.
Yeah. So,
That's so true.
yeah, right.
I mean, I
That's a
got
move
caught with gum and
Yeah.
all the time.
That's a move born out of desperation. You didn't want to get caught on the table. Sneaky little quick one right there.
That's right. Now phone, good to go. So yeah, times have definitely.
Now they have iPads in class. Like instead of books, they
Yeah.
get assigned an iPad.
It's integrated in the curriculum.
Yeah.
But that's the future, baby. Look, I got an iPhone
Progress.
right here. I got my notes right here. This is the future, baby. And we're going to talk about the future of MPD too, to segue. But that's coming up in the show. I like to jump ahead.
Nice segue, man. Nice
You like
segue.
that?
Smooth.
Smooth, but I segued too far in the future because that's like the next the next topic. So we went into the military. We did 4 years in the military, and then right away you came back and applied to be a police officer.
Started applying. Did a little bit of work with the county as a jitney and taxi inspector.
Oh, nice.
And,
so are you mechanically inclined, or you just like tires look good?
Absolutely not, man.
Okay.
I can put air in the tires, man. I don't know.
There's a kill in the game.
Yeah,
Are the tires flat? Is
Nah, yeah, that's it, man. That's my mechanical expertise right there.
Okay.
But took me a little bit of time there, like a couple of years, and finally the city had just come off a long hiring freeze, and in March of 94, got picked up by the greatest law enforcement agency in the world.
in the world. I mean, so you became a police officer. We said 94. So in the military, were you also doing school, or like college education, or that came once you joined? You started doing.
That's a great question. One of my biggest regrets was not taking advantage of that while I was in the military. I mean, we did get deployed a lot, so we had a couple of deployments, but while we were in base, I didn't take advantage of that. I regretted it later on. I didn't get my bachelor's till 2008 and my master's till 2017. I was a late bloomer.
Hey, but better late than never.
You got that right.
And if there's any young listeners, little word of advice: school.
Yeah.
School is cool.
Yeah. The sooner you do it, the better off you are.
Never too old to learn.
There you go. Look at that.
For sure.
He's done for this segment. He's like, I got my check.
it.
I got my one-liner.
That's his contribution to
Now
the
I can go to
podcast
sleep.
right there.
It's actually a futon, so you're good.
Just wind me up in 10 minutes.
Sure, you got a master's.
That's right.
Which school?
So kind of tough, right? Because I was in the Army.
Yeah.
But I went to the Naval Postgraduate School. So that is the Armed Forces graduate level university. So when you're in the armed forces, if you're going for your undergrad, Army will go to West Point. The Air Force has their own academy.
Yeah.
You got the Naval Academy for the Navy and the Marines. But if you're following up higher education, your master's or your PhD, everybody kind of goes to the same place. You got the War College for military topics, and then you have the Naval Postgraduate in beautiful Monterey, California.
Wow.
So there is a FEMA sponsored program.
Okay, that's what I was going to say. Yeah.
Which is tuition free.
Hey.
So it's approximately an $80,000 program that anyone that's in government can apply for. So
Is that still a thing? Is that current?
Still a thing, man. Let me tell you what they give you in free tuition, they take away in blood, sweat, and tears, man.
Really
It's
hard work.
Oh, man, let me tell you, that was the toughest 18 months of my adult life.
Well,
but
came out on top.
Absolutely, man, with distinction.
Elaborate on that. Because were you
one out of every class gets designated a diploma with distinction. That was me.
Oh, how big was your class, sir? This is what matters.
Started with 32.
Oh,
only 28 ended.
Wow. Oh, wow.
But firefighters, cops from everywhere. It was a couple of military folks in there. But it was like I told you, one of the greatest experiences I've had. It's a phenomenal program, and I encourage anyone that's in law enforcement or government, because there was some public health officials, emergency managers in there. It's well worth it. It's at the Center of Homeland Defense and Security at the Naval Postgraduate.
I gotta look that up.
Yeah, it's a great program. I've been trying to get a couple of people to go, but just the application process is 5 essays.
So you got your degree concurrent with the career, right? So my suggestions is any listeners out there that are like leaving high school, I always say to take your time, get some life experience, and go to college. Get that degree. This way you get a little bit of life experience when you apply to be a police officer. We get a lot of aspiring police officers that are listening to the podcast. And that's just my opinion.
I came in at 28, so I had about 8 years out of high school before I became a cop, and I definitely think it helps. I had a lot of ups and downs before becoming a cop, different perspective. Not to say that a kid coming out of high school, can't come be an officer without that life experience, but I think it does help having coming on at 28 years old. And I definitely went to calls where I was like, I remember being in some positions, other people, and maybe. Acted a certain way based on that experience. So yeah.
No, absolutely. And that's what I was meaning. Like, so you lived the experience. You lived that experience as a human. Then when you put on the uniform and you arrive and you're trying to help with a problem that somebody has, that's a huge up for you in the game of trying to come with some conflict resolution on a scene. So, and not to say that there's not 18-year-olds out there that can handle the job, but it's a little bit better to have some experience under your belt. Yeah. With that being said, sir, the next one, I keep talking about the audience out there listening. They sent in questions.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We like a day ago on our Instagram, we put up some stories and we prompted the audience, and we said, "Hey, you got any questions for the chief? We're going to have him on the podcast." Anissa, she's heading all the segments. She's going to be coming in right after this quick break, and she is going to read off some of these questions that we have for you. We got 5. We took top 5. We got a lot. Hundreds and hundreds, thousands. I don't know, but we took 5.
That was a lot.
It was a lot. So we'll be right back, and then we're going to get to some of those questions.
Awesome.
All right.
What's up, guys? I hope that you are enjoying the podcast. Now, if you haven't already, make sure you subscribe right here to our channel. We want to make this as interactive as possible, so if you have any questions, anything that's on your mind, feel free to always comment. It helps us understand what you want to see, and it helps grow the channel. Let's get back to the podcast.
And we're back. Another commercial under the belt, sir. On break, we were talking.
That one was almost as good as the first one.
Almost as good.
Almost.
Almost as good. But we're working on them. So we were talking on the break real quick before we get into the questions about Army service, Navy degree.
That's right.
A little bit of a conflict there because each branch is prideful of their branch, and everyone thinks that their branch is better, right?
Everybody feels that their brand is better.
That's right. So Marines, Army, I know, Navy.
And I respect all of them, but,
Yeah.
There's absolutely no question, especially when the Army-Navy game is on, right?
Well, that's
it's always go Army, beat Navy.
There you go. Okay, that's what I was gonna say.
Whether the degree on the wall says Navy or not,
Because
come
sometimes.
football time, it's go Army.
All right, there you go. That was a question because some people are from Miami, but they go to school in FSU, and then Miami plays FSU, and they got a little bit of conflict. Do I root for Miami, my hometown, or do I go for my school? But you got it, Army all the way.
That's it.
Okay.
I know the Army Navy football game is a huge rivalry.
Yeah,
every year.
Huge.
Yeah,
Huge.
and they-
I've never been to a game, but I'm looking forward to it.
yeah. You see
so
like the
cold,
crowd, man. It looks intense.
Cold.
It's awesome.
All right. Got questions.
Back.
We got questions coming now. Questions hot off the press. You guys gave us questions on Instagram. Stay tuned if you're not following us on Instagram at MPD Police on Instagram, so you can get your own questions in. We're gonna have guests coming in, and we'll let you guys know who the guests are. And if any questions you want to ask them, this is the segment where you get your shine. We're gonna even shout out your handles, so it's gonna be good. So Anissa.
Yes. All right. So, first question is by Uzi3364.
All right.
What is your favorite unit? That's like a mommy and daddy.
Man,
And these
right
are
off the bat, Uzi wants to
Fastball.
start
You know what?
an internal conflict
Sir.
in the Miami Police Department.
It's already known. Social
Tread
media
lightly.
unit is the favorite.
Wow.
We just go right to the next
So
one.
aside from the social media unit, what is my favorite unit in the police department? So I mean, honestly, I'm a patrol guy through
Right.
and through, right?
Yeah.
I think that's a lot of people say is the backbone of the police department, but in reality, that is right. You call 911, you get the patrol guys.
Yeah.
So they don't often get the credit they deserve. So I'm going to say that my favorite unit is patrol. There's a lot of great elite units, homicide, SWAT,
Yeah.
hostage negotiators. Man, we got it all.
Yeah.
You know, aviation, marine, but let's go with the patrol, man. Those guys are like the Army grunts.
They're
the
front
infantry,
line.
man.
On
They're
the
the
front
infantry.
lines.
Yeah.
They're
On
the
the front
front guy.
lines.
They're front line, man.
Yeah.
They're the ones that are going to get there first. So whatever you need, then you can dial 911. Trusty patrol.
All right, we'll say okay.
Well,
we'll
I did
take
say
it.
they're
Social media
right
unit.
after.
Okay.
Social media doesn't even count. So far ahead. So far ahead, doesn't even count. You know.
Okay, so that was a good question by who was that? Uzi3364. Thank you for
Yep.
the question.
Yeah.
All right. Next question is by George Montes 3.
Ooh, this is a deep one. This is deep, sir.
What's one thing you would tell your younger self?
No. He's because you missed the first
That's the
thing.
first line.
Oh, okay.
I want to be a police
Yeah.
officer. What's the one thing would you tell your younger self? So he's trying to become a police officer. So set him straight. Go back to the younger self you.
I think what we talked about a little earlier, I would have taken advantage at some point and got it a little college education under my belt before I came along.
Yeah.
I think research proves that officers that come on the department that have some college or higher level education perform better.
Okay.
They treat the public better. They react better. They have better social skills. So if there's one thing, continue your education
Yeah.
before you get into law enforcement.
Can I add? I know this is his question, but just to piggyback, is what
I mean, you're the host. Who's going to stop you? It's not
when
like the chief is in here and is going to stop you or anything like that, you know?
I lost my audio in my headphone. Oh, I know.
Oh,
it.
no.
I know.
Get a man
I know what
down.
happened.
Oh,
I rolled over there.
You need that part.
Somebody save me.
So yeah, just to piggyback off of Nick's piggyback. So that's advice you would have given to yourself. But I started thinking about this whole TikTok generation. I could picture some young man or young woman out there playing video games, drinking energy drinks at home, but they're listening to this podcast and something resonates with them. They're like, hey, maybe I should go in law enforcement. What would you give? What kind of advice or words of wisdom would you give somebody that young generation today?
I think is drop all that electronic equipment, or whether it be the video games, the smartphones,
Sounds like me on the weekends,
Yeah,
to be honest,
man.
sir. I apologize.
Get out and enjoy the world, man. Get
Yeah.
some human contact under your belt,
Absolutely.
man, right?
No, I agree with that. I agree.
Go
with
greet a fellow human being.
I agree with that. The communication is huge. So when I was teaching at the police academy, the younger generation, they're all text, so we really harped on communication and being able to speak. And it's in there. It's in the brain.
Yeah.
You just got to massage that muscle a little bit and you'll get better at it. But if you don't start and if you're always on the phone, you're not going to be good at that. So to piggyback off of that is when you're in school. and you're young, you have to make your choices that you're making within the back of your head. Is this going to affect my opportunity to become a police officer?
Yeah.
And make sure you don't get any hiccups while you're in college, because college is fun and life experience when you're young is fun, but decisions that you're making can affect the opportunity to become a police officer due to background checks or whatever happens. So just keep that in your mind.
Just party responsibly, huh?
That's in a nutshell.
Yeah. Use ride share.
In a
Use ride share.
nutshell. All right, that was good. What do we got?
All right. From P. Iglesias 98. What inspired you to get where you are now?
Wow. So some people have heroes, right?
That's right.
I guess I have nemesis.
Ooh.
So for me, it was always an interaction with a supervisor that was not the best.
I like it.
And I think we've all had them, right?
Absolutely.
You're like, man,
Feel
this
that
guy
fire.
is not very good at what he does, man. I think I can do a better job than that. And that was the way for me forward, right? I don't think many people start off this career and thinking, man, I want to be chief. I certainly didn't.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you too.
Yeah, well. So, some people do. I imagine some people, you go to the academy, right? You talk to the academy classes and they're like,
Hey, I want to be chief.
there might be a chief in here. Who's going to be chief? And then people raise their hand. Man, I just wanted to be a patrolman for my entire career.
Yeah.
And then you come across a couple of supervisors, some sergeants that are not as courteous, compassionate and respectful as they should be. And you're like, you know what? If I take the promotional test and I get promoted to sergeant, that guy can't tell me what to do.
Yeah.
So let me do that. And that's what happened to me. I had a bad supervisor who remained nameless. He's no longer here.
Okay.
But that's what,
Absolutely. I agree
Well, that's my
100%.
career.
Be the change, right?
be the change.
You could either complain about it or do something about it.
Yeah.
And there you go. You did something about
I
it.
did something about it. Look what happened.
That's what I'm talking
Where you
about.
at?
So I love it. I love it.
All right. Next, we got a question from SF Hoto.
Oh, he's got this. He's one of our. Sorry, sir.
Yes.
Long time viewers. He actually came in the other day to
Took a picture here with us right here.
picture with us. So just want to give a quick shout out.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, he's good. He's good.
The
Good people.
fan.
Good people.
Yeah.
All right. Besides patrol, what other divisions did you work in?
Ooh, resume time.
So I did patrol where I was a field training officer. Then I went to domestic violence that morphed into the violent crimes unit, which was a combination of assaults and domestic violence. From there, I got promoted back on the streets, field training supervisor, crisis intervention supervisor. Then I went to probably the funnest time that I've had, I think. I was a supervisor in the crime suppression unit, which is our version of street narcotics.
Right. Correct.
So I was in charge of all the undercover drug buyers in the city.
Yep.
So I did that for a couple of years till I got promoted to lieutenant, went to the streets, and then I took over the gang unit. And that was another interesting period of time.
Yeah.
But a little bit of everything. And then from there, I got promoted to commander in 09, and the rest is history.
Refresh my recollection. Was it Grove, then Upper East Side, or Upper East Side, then Grove?
So it was, in 09, it was correction, it was Little Haiti.
Little Haiti.
And Upper East Side. They were together at one time.
Okay.
So I had double the net areas, and then they split them. I kept the Upper East Side. And then on 2013, I went down to Coconut Grove.
Sir, little history that we have.
Go
At
ahead.
one point, they created a PST, a problem-solving team for your net area.
That's right.
And there was somebody with two thumbs that was on that team, and somebody behind the cameras. That was the best
The
team.
best
best.
PST team I've ever had. Problem solvers at his best.
So yes, and now sitting in the big office, stairs.
Sitting in the chair.
That's what I'm talking about.
All right. Last question by John_Stevens11. What is the most dangerous job of an MPD officer?
So I think every aspect of policing can be dangerous, right? But statistically saying, I think motormen
Motors.
have the highest rate of getting injured. And this year we've had probably 3 or 4.
Yep.
One not so long ago that if you look at that video, it's kind of shocking. So that is an incredibly hazardous job. And let me tell you, there's a lot of jobs in here that I'm telling you, I don't know if I got the stuff, the grit to kind of do. And motors, SWAT.
Yeah.
And let me tell you, even Marine Patrol, everybody thinks Marine Patrol, you're out there riding in the boat, the sun, the fun,
the shorts.
But at some point, somebody's got to dive in the Miami River.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And there's bull sharks and there's alligators and there's crocodiles all over the place. So it's not as glamorous as it sounds. So those are some of the jobs. But I want to say motors, if I had to pick one, it's probably the most hazardous one. Yeah.
I would concur, and not only them actually operating the motor is doing traffic stops, because traffic stops are, you don't know, it's a mixed bag. You don't know what you're going to get when you're on a traffic stop.
Absolutely.
So yes, I would agree.
Kudos to those guys, huh?
Yeah, and going back to Marine Patrol, they're actually pretty courageous, because they're like, no, it's bull shark mating season, so if they just come up and bump you, don't worry about it. I'm like, I think I'm gonna vlog from the boat.
That'll be the last time I'm in the water.
So, all right. Well, there you go. Right, that was the questions. Not too bad, right?
Not too shabby.
But they were pretty good questions.
I like them.
Yeah,
I like
Not bad,
them.
not bad.
Good questions. Good
Very
questions.
good questions.
Broad range.
Yeah, they
like it.
They ask good questions, and we want to keep it coming. So if you're not following us, make sure you follow us on @MPD Police on Instagram to ask those questions. That's what we're doing it.
Done.
All right. With that being said, sir, we're cruising along here.
We are.
We're gonna go
We're
right.
flying like the car.
That's
Hey-o.
we're flying. Look, he's a little delayed, little lag. You got it.
Yeah,
There you go.
There we go.
There you
Better
go.
late than never. Better
Sleep
late
at the
than never.
button. Sleep at the button.
That drummer's sleepy.
So when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about present day, where we're headed as a department, with Chief at the helm. So with that being said, let's take a quick break.
Let's do it.
Hey, are you enjoying the video portion of our podcast? You can also find us on all audio streaming platforms like iTunes, Spotify, iHeartRadio. We'll have those available for you down below. Now back to the show.
We good? Are we back?
Good to go.
All right. And that was our final commercial of the podcast.
Probably the best one yet.
That's right. See, at least we're growing now.
Yeah,
So
we're getting better.
kind of skipped over the academy thing real quick. I just wanted to get your experience through the academy, because it was military, then right into the academy, and then we went into like your progression in the career. So I don't want to leave that. I don't know when you're going to be on again, sir. So I don't want to leave that.
I'm going to be around for a long time.
That's what I'm talking about. But you're a busy man. You're a busy man. So real quick, tell us how the academy was for you going in. Did you find it challenging, and what was it like back then? It's a little bit different.
Yeah.
I could understand.
So BLE 158.
158.
We did it at the Miami-Dade North Campus and the public safety curriculum over there. We had some mostly city, but we did have some Hialeah. We had a Miami Springs and North Miami, I believe, in the class. So we had a couple of folks in there. Man, I coming from basic training and back a while back, man, basic training was it's harsh.
Yeah.
So the academy wasn't really that challenging, once you demystify it and you kind of take the studying out of it. The physicality's still there, but compared to what you go through the Army and, being 30 years ago, I was a little bit better shape. Not much, but a little bit better shape. So I had a great time. I picked that up, and the studying wasn't bad. Obviously, the firearms component. I have been, firing weapons in the Army, so it came with ease, to be honest. But it was an incredibly great time. I mean, I still have folks that are still in the department and we're friends that we went to the academy many years ago. So
yeah, so the military, again, to the listeners out there, kind of gave you that leg up where you're like, I just got to figure out what this police academy is about, because I think I can handle it. But the military helped you with the handling the PT, which is a physical training.
Correct.
And then the studying school. Actually, you didn't go to college yet in the academy.
I had not. had not.
But this was still there. The brains were still there.
Yeah.
So that
I
transition.
did studying, man. It came back.
Yeah, I know when I went to college, criminal justice was my major, and coming to the academy, you're basically regurgitating what you learned in criminal justice as far as books. You expand, obviously. Mm-hmm. There's some other topics, but it was really easy for me. Not easy, but it made it easier. Mm-hmm. So if you're out there listening, college is good. So that was academy. Were you class leader, or you just kind of in the mix?
Man, I was just in the mix.
In the mix.
Did you guys have drill instructors in your academy?
We had tactical advisors. They call them TAs.
TAs, okay.
Training
Training
advisors.
Training
They got away from that. Now it's DIs, but yes.
Now it's the drill
Training
instructors, right? So
Yeah.
maybe we got time for a little insider's tip.
I would love it.
Right? So I see a lot of folks go to the academy, and so when they get hired, I kind of tell them, at the beginning, the academy's tough. A lot of yelling, a lot of push-ups, a lot of running, right? And basically that's to test your mental toughness, right? You're going to be going to some calls. You're going to be seeing some horrific things as a cop.
Right.
We want to make sure that you have what it takes mentally, that you have the toughness that we need to go out there, right? But after that, we want to turn you into a problem solver.
Right.
So if you can make it through the harsh portion of the first couple of weeks, which is the drill week, right, and you got the smarts and you got the time and the dedication and you put in the hard work, the academy shouldn't be that hard for folks, right? I mean, the technically aspects of firing a firearm, it's even better. You were a firearms instructor, right?
Yes, sir.
So it's better to grab someone who has not fired a gun to teach them because they haven't built bad habits.
Bad habits,
So you can build them up better from the ground, from the beginning up, you know?
Yeah, you can mold instead of chisel. They got the clay and you can mold it easy, but if they're, oh man, I got to chisel.
You got to chisel the bad habits away.
Right.
So that's the insider's tip.
Absolutely. And there's a rhyme and reason why the screaming, because we do post stuff on our social media and people are like, oh, do we really need to be screaming at them? It's there's a rhyme and reason behind it. And just like you explained, if you can't take a drill instructor in your face yelling at you, when you go out to the real world and you have to deal with situations like that, or there's a high stress level, maybe this profession is not going to be for you if you can't take a drill instructor.
We need to know if you're going to crack under pressure.
Absolutely.
So we got to test you.
Exactly.
Got to test you.
Yeah, because we don't want to test you out there. We'd rather...
That's too late when you're out there, right?
Exactly. Make it as close as to reality as we can possibly get in here, and mimic that, because you're representing the police department and you have a lot of authority when you're out there, and we want to make sure you're squared away.
Anytime you're out there, people's lives are at stake.
That's what I'm talking about, and we have to be there to answer the calls.
You got that?
So that was the academy stuff. You guys got anything you wanted to plug in on that?
I will say, just going off of what Chief said, I was someone that when I was in the academy, I maybe thought, no prior military experience, never dealt with a drill instructor. That was all new. And I had those moments where I'm like, is it necessary? The whole drill instructor thing, it's the purpose. And they tell you, you're like, okay, but maybe we could have done this without that. And then I got into something very early on in my career, almost straight out of there. And after everything had passed, I was almost like, very proud of myself and thought, how was I able to handle the stress level? And it all made sense. Yeah. And coming straight out of the academy, and I was like, being able to function in that high stressful situation, and it all made sense. And there's definitely a purpose for it. Yeah,
there's a purpose. There's a plan. There's a reason why there's instructors instructing you. And if you don't do or follow the instructions, you pay. It would push-ups or some kind of physical fitness activity. However, it can cost you your life if you're not following instructions. I need you to stay on this corner. Don't move. If you're wandering around, something happens. Well, you didn't follow the instructions, but rhyme and reason behind everything in the academy.
Method to the madness.
Exactly. Yep. All right, so moving on. So that was the academy. Now we can fast forward because we heard the extensive career of the chief, and now you're at the helm and you're steering the ship. And maybe we can get where we headed. So from the very beginning, I've always had as my number one priority is going to be public safety, right? I think that's what the police is here for, to keep the community safe, right? And a safe city is a prosperous city. And if you take a look outside our beautiful windows and you take a look at downtown Miami, Brickell, Wynwood, or any of the other neighborhoods in the city, you can see that we're growing at an incredible rate. That presents its own challenges later on to how police, maybe we can talk about that later, but obviously keeping folks safe. So the number one priority has been the prevention of firearm-related violence. Right. So that's always been our topic when we just deploy our resources out there. We're always mindful that we are putting the bulk of our forces out in areas where folks have been plagued by gun violence.
And we've been pretty successful this year. I mean, we're unfortunately at 27 homicides this year, but when you compare it to the 31 we had last year, and that was a 23% drop from the total that we had the previous year, we're doing pretty well.
Right.
So if we continue on the current path and on the same performance level that we have, we could reach levels that have not been seen since the 30s.
Whoa.
Right. So I think that's pretty impressive. I think it's a testament to the hard work of the brave men and women of the Miami Police Department, because I come up with the vision, the strategies, the tactics, but the people who do the work are the men and women that are mainly in patrol, right? Our problem-solving teams do a great bulk, and our tactical robbery units, the gangs.
Did you see the video, sir, that we put out on YouTube with tactical robbery?
Tactical robbery guys.
They were bringing
that I was there when their first got created, the tactical robbery. I went to the first tactical robbery class.
Oh.
I was part of that class.
Yeah.
I was a commander, but since I was going to be the first commanding officer of that unit, I decided to go to the class with it.
How was it?
Brutal, man.
Yeah. I was
old, man. I was old. I felt old that time.
Yeah.
Back in 09.
That was a good one. I did the RIT school for that, which is either tactical robbery or but that was a good.
Yeah, we mimicked the curriculum of the RIT. So
yeah, so that was.
But then also, you got to be mindful that you can only police a community that allows you to police it, right?
Right.
So, one of my second priority has always been restoring the community trust in the police department, man. I think we've been through some turbulent times in our history.
Absolutely.
And in recent times that we just want to show the community, hey, we're here, we're professional, we're compassionate, we're going to treat you with respect and dignity, and we're going to do the right thing at the right time for the right reason. So that's part of some of the initiatives that we have out there. And like I told you, we couldn't do it without the officers. So priority number 3 for my administration has always been improve officer health, wellness, morale, and professionalism. So we've done some things like the changing of the uniform, allowing folks to work out on duty.
Yeah.
I'm looking into having mandatory psychological or therapy sessions where folks can vent. We're bringing, in conjunction with the Miami-Dade County Association of Chiefs of Police, a Struggle Well program, which is an incredible training class that teaches you how to grow from post-traumatic incidents and how to deal with it. The complexities of not only being a police officer, but being a human being in our times, man.
Absolutely.
It's crazy, some of the stuff that we see out there every day. So how do you deal with both family or personal and professional lives, right? So you can become a more holistic, complete, and functioning human being. So those are some of the things that we're doing and where we're headed. And so far, we've had great response from the troops. So I want to thank them all. Without you, none of this is possible. So thank you guys.
And that I didn't know about that program coming in. I think it's huge. It's huge because there used to be a little stigma about not being able to talk about your stuff, and nowadays it's like, hey man, everyone's like, hey, what do you got, man? Unload. We want to hear it. Because that helps. That helps. Everyone's human, like you said.
I go to therapy once a month, man.
Yeah.
At least once a month, man. And go and vent and let it out, man. The worst thing you can do is bottle it up and let all that stress and that pressure build up, man. You know what happens?
Yeah.
It comes out in unhealthy ways.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You gotta unload that stress to be able to shelf the other stuff. And that's a little motto I live by. It's like, let's get it out. Let's get it out, especially at home. Let's talk about it. Well, let's talk about it, because then it becomes about the volume of the TV, and it's not the volume of the TV. It's all the other stuff you have compiled. So it's really not that, what it is. Let's dig deep and unload this stress bottle that we got here, so we can watch the TV at whatever volume we want.
Yeah.
So
and props to you, Chief, for speaking about mental health, because there's a big stigma attached to seeking help, especially for men. It's seen as like, oh, you can't solve your problems
like a
on
sign
your
of
own.
weakness.
A sign of weakness. So to come forward and say that, kudos.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
At the end of the day, we're all human beings, right?
Absolutely.
We all have issues to deal with, man. Let's find a way to deal with them in a healthy way that's going to be productive to both you and the community. So
Absolutely.
There was another thing as far as like training too, right? We're adjusting to the times and adjusting some of the curriculum as far as defensive tactics. I've noticed under the helm that I've seen from the ground up. I'm like, oh, that's good stuff.
So for many years we've outlawed the chokeholds, right? We're one for the first police departments maybe 30 years ago.
Yep.
We outlawed since I've been here.
Yeah.
You couldn't choke people, right? So that was one of the things that was in the mainstream and became a very, contested or debated topic out there. But just to kind of bring clarification, folks, and a lot of this mixed martial arts, and I know that a lot of officers are into that, but how do you transition that? How do you bring that into policing?
Yeah.
Because, if you're training on your own, kudos, man. I think it's great.
Yeah.
You want to find a better way to protect yourself. But how do you do that within the guidelines of the policies of the Miami Police Department?
Exactly.
So we put out a couple of training videos and a couple of refreshers to make sure that when we're policing the community, we're doing it in a lawful way, but that we don't do it in an awful way, right? Because sometimes things are lawful.
Yeah.
And what you're doing, the actions that you're taking, the tactics that you're using are perfectly within the boundaries of the law. But when you look at it, you're like, oh,
it's not pretty.
that looks ugly.
Yeah.
Sometimes policing is ugly, but you got to be mindful, right? Because perception to some is reality. And it's a sign of the times that we got to be mindful and we got to, we're the only individuals in our society that have the lawful right to use deadly force.
Yeah.
So, like Spider-Man said, man, with great power
comes great responsibility.
Right?
There it is.
There you go.
We got to take it. We got to take it seriously when we go out there, and we got to be mindful that every time that we put our hands on folks, we do it lawfully and we do it tactically proficient. So that's where the training comes.
Yeah, so that was something I wanted to add in because I know that
an old training guy right there, man. He
That's
wants
it.
to highlight training.
That's it. Shout out
To the training.
the training unit. Phenomenal. We want to know about hold on, I have the question here. Oh, I got it. It's an amateur hour. We're at the tail end and the cafecito's wearing off. But as far as now we're going to talk about theory or not theory. In theory, if somebody came over, was like, boop, hit the reset button on Chief Morales and said, you are now, everything you did, we're going to reset to back in the day. Now you're in high school or you're starting your career path, but you cannot be a police officer. Which career path would you go down? And you can't say firefighter.
Man, you're killing me there. Who does not want to be a firefighter?
It's true.
Who doesn't want that
so
schedule?
good.
Hey, I always kind of, it's absolute, without a doubt, jealousy of the firefighters, man, right? Because everybody loves the firefighters, man.
Right.
Go to any amusement park, any theme park, man, right? Go to Central Florida, they're all wearing their firefighter shirts, man.
Yeah.
All of them.
Yeah.
Engine 39 with the axes in the back and the fire and the flames.
Representing.
And everybody's like, hey, high-fiving, and they're high-fiving the firefighters. You'll never see a police shirt, man.
No.
Right? Never.
No.
So
we don't know what we're going to get out of that.
yeah. You don't know.
There's some high
It's like a
fivers.
box of chocolates.
Yeah, it's some
you
high
don't know
fivers.
what you're going to get. But wow, if I couldn't be a firefighter, man, I don't know, man. I really, when I was little, I wanted to be an astronaut till I found out I was afraid of heights. Maybe I can give that another try, man.
An astronaut.
Kind of buckle up.
All right, joining the Space Force.
That's right.
Or SpaceX too, with Elon.
Blue Horizon.
Blue Horizon.
We'll stay with one company. We'll spread the love.
That's it. So you're afraid of heights, so no flying car for you.
No, man, I don't think so, man. So I
No
don't,
patrolling in the flying car.
I don't like it. So, man, every time that I'm put in a situation that I have to prove it to myself.
Yeah.
So I'll go to the edge of the building, like we had a staff retreat, and we went to the east in beautiful Brickell. Man, that place is gorgeous, right? So we're in the 29th floor, glass, ceiling to floor.
Yeah.
So I had to actually go and put my head up against the glass to prove to myself,
Yeah.
Little challenges every day, right? You gotta.
Did you get a little woozy?
A little bit, but you still do it, right?
Yeah.
You ever,
It's like going into that dark hallway, man, when
Fight
they
your
call in
fear.
the alarm and there's an armed offender on the other side.
Yeah,
You got to go in there.
training kicks
Gotta
in.
Prove it to yourself.
Training kicks in, and you're just like autopilot at this point.
Yeah.
I'm going in there. But standing on top of a building, sometimes all right, a little bit I got a little bit of the same fear as you, sir. Is this where we're opening up?
Yeah.
So, even the videos that you watch of the guy climbing like the pole to change the light bulb, you're just like, oh,
No.
Or the people who clean the windows like 50 floors and they're like hanging on a string. Like,
No, that's not gonna be happening here.
yeah. Mm-mm.
Did you ride in the? Have you obviously rode in the helicopter?
Yeah.
How was that for you?
You know what? It's not as scary as it sounds. It's actually good.
Yeah.
So I rode it in some in the military.
Yeah. Okay.
And ours is an incredible machine. So it's actually a fun time. You guys have done a blog about it, right?
Yeah, I've been on a couple. I've been on the old one.
Yeah, I've vlogged with them.
The new one. New one's powerful. The old one used to take off like and then this one just goes straight up, and you sink into the chair.
Yeah, it's nice.
I loved
nice.
it. It's awesome.
Yeah, the only thing about the helicopter for me was when they go around a house for a perimeter, they could literally about the circumference of a yard and just be spinning around there looking down. After a while, I'm like, okay, I don't think he's in the yard. Let's go to the next yard.
Yeah, no, that's not gonna happen while I'm on the plane. While I'm on the chopper, that's not gonna be happening. I'll be like, oh, yeah, nice and smooth, Pablo.
No circles.
No dips, no hard dives.
Okay.
Come on, keep it nice and sweet, man. Keep it PG.
There was two things. One was to continue with the height stuff. In the military, they didn't have you like, all right, everybody out, and you had to.
Man, but you know what was difficult at the beginning, man? The confidence course, they call them obstacle courses.
What do you got to climb?
Now,
the
but
tower?
there's one that's like the Stairway to Heaven. That is just like a stair go, and you got to flip on the top. Man, that was difficult. And there's another one that's a tower that you got to do. It's like 5 levels, and you got to use a 3-man team to push yourself up. So I was always a big guy, man. But by the time you get to the top, man, you're like, man,
Don't look down.
Easy was up because I kept looking up, man. I'm not looking down, but when you're at the top, you got to look.
Yeah.
So that was a little challenging, but I mean, you get over, you muster the courage, and you move through.
Sometimes I think, when you're in certain situations, but I won't put myself in that situation. You guys want to go?
Not if you don't have to.
Yeah, you guys want to go skydiving?
Skydiving.
Like, why? Why are we?
Nah,
Why are we going
gonna happen.
skydiving? I'm good right here.
Yeah.
No rappelling, like the SWAT jumping off of the building and into the bag. I don't think so. The airbag.
So SWAT school sounds appealing. It's like, wow, they do the water, the water. They're in the water. They're doing the shooting. They're running. I mean, that's cool. I could train for that. But then you get towards the end, and it's like, all right, now you did all that, and now you got to jump into the bag.
That's right.
And the bag looks like
And you got to repel from the building in the
building.
top, like 28 stories up. I'm not with that.
No, not at all.
No.
Are you afraid of heights, Orlando?
I get a little woozy. I cannot lie.
Yeah.
No. Well, Ralph, what about
I'm
you?
good. I'm pretty good with heights.
Skydiving heights or just
No, if I have a choice, I'm not gonna skydive.
No.
But when we
if they're
go
like,
up there-
hey, the plane's going
Like when I
down.
work-
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
yeah,
We gotta go.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
that's
That's
Skydiving or
different.
death.
But if I have the choice now,
No, not for fun. I know Gio, skydiving guy back there. Just thumbs up, thumbs down.
I have to be probably kidnapped and taken on the plane.
Yeah. So it's life or death.
we'll take that as a thumbs
Life
down.
or death. Life or death. Lisa, what do you got?
I have no problem with heights, but I don't know about skydiving. I'll do parasailing. That's fun.
Yeah.
I like
I
it.
think the scary thing about skydiving is not so much the heights; it's the fear of it not opening. You get like that.
No, I think they're a little combination of.
You could throw yourself.
Because
out.
if I knew 100% it was gonna open, I'll do it. But it's that 0.00001 that
Well, put it this way: you could always go with a guy on that you're strapped to on the stomach, and he can just do it for you, doing 100, 200 miles an
I don't
hour.
think I like that either.
so if the parachute doesn't open, it's just 2 of you that are going to hit the ground. Real
Just
hard.
more weight.
Nah, I don't think so. I don't think so, man.
Okay, I'm just throwing it out there because
Yeah,
he said
no.
he's not scared
Terra
too
firma,
much.
baby. Terra firma.
He's not too
Solid
scared.
ground.
All right. Well, with that being said, I think we could end it here and the skydiving stuff. Anything you wanna add, or what would you feel about the first episode or this vibe here? What do you think?
I think it's promising.
Yeah.
I think it has a lot of potential.
Thank you, sir.
Not only to reach our audience, but to answer a lot of the questions that the community has.
Yeah.
Once you open up that forum for them to kind of give us the questions,
Absolutely.
I think it'll be a medium and a social media outlet that will serve some,
Yeah.
some good out there.
Yeah.
I'm excited.
It's
you.
good. It's good stuff. I
how
hope.
it goes.
I hope the audience enjoyed it. Our first podcast. Anissa,
Thank
you
you.
got anything?
No, good.
Yeah. All right. Coming down the line.
Good.
Thank
She's
you.
still thinking about the flying car.
Yeah.
They were.
I will keep researching after this.
No, just thank you so much for coming on. Appreciate
No,
it.
my pleasure. Thank you for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks, Chief, for joining this the maiden voyage of the Miami Police Podcast.
The first one.
El Primero.
That's it.
Yeah, it's
The
nice.
first one.
Gio's throwing a thumbs up
throwing
back
up.
there. He's good. Throws the peace sign. And again, thank you for joining us on the Miami Police Podcast, first episode.
Thank you. Be
And,
good, everyone, and stay safe.
There you go. All right. Yeah. We got to get a picture. Hey, hey.